Hi everyone, this is Dr. Boyle. I am going to be walking you guys through your graduation requirements today, as well as looking at your current transcripts that you have. If you are a 10th, 11th, or 12th grade student, you should have your credit summary as well as your transcript. If you are a current 9th grader, you do not have a transcript because you do not have credits that you've earned at our high school yet. So first I want to talk about what the graduation requirements are. So to walk across that stage in May, you have to have all of these things. So in English, we'll start there. You have to have 4 credits. So you must take 9th grade Lit and American Lit. It has to be those two for sure. If you are in IB, that was your PIB American Lit. If you're an AP, that's AP Lang. So those count as well. So all 4 of the 4 credits in English, you have to have literature courses. So if you take mythology, yearbook, newspaper, those are just academic electives in English. They do not count for your 4 credits of English to graduate. Moving to math, you have to have 4 credits as well. So if you're taking, let's say, Algebra 1 with support courses do not count as math credits. So you have to have 1 math class every year you're here. You have to take Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. Once you get past Algebra 2, you can choose what your 4th math is, whether it's Math of Finance, Pre-Calculus, Advanced Math Decision Making, or one of our AP courses. You have to choose one after Algebra 2, so you'll have 4 credits. In science, you also have to have 4 credits. You must take biology and physical science or physics. So if you take PIB Physics as an IB student, that's perfectly fine. That's why you're not taking physical science too. If you're transferring in and you took physics at your school, that's awesome. You just have to have one or the other there. Your 3rd class has to either be chemistry, environmental science, earth systems, or you can take an AP or an IB course. So remember that if you were going into your senior year and you don't have that, make sure you're signing up for environmental science. We don't currently offer earth systems, so it's going to have to be either environmental science or chemistry. So 4 credits there. In social studies, the state of Georgia only requires 3, but in Douglas County, and not just Douglas County High School, all of Douglas County high schools have to take 4 credits. So in Douglas County, American Government and Economics are full credit classes, so you take them all year long. The state of Georgia only requires you to do half credits. So if you transfer in and you only have a half credit one of those, we're not going to make you go back and take the whole class again. But if you start here in 9th grade and you end in 12th grade, you're going to be taking those as a whole credit. Okay? And then you also have to take World History and U.S. History. So again, American Government, Econ, World History, and U.S. CTA, Foreign Language, and Fine Arts. You need 3 credits. It can be any of those. And we'll talk about pathways in just a second, but you need 3 credits in those areas. You also have to have health and personal fitness. So those are half credits, but they equal a whole. First semester you may take health, second semester you take personal fitness, or vice versa. So it ends up being a total of 1 credit, but each of them are a half credit course. And then you have 3 other electives that you can take. So if you're failing your gym classes, you're failing chorus or band, remember you're going to have some electives to graduate. So the total number of credits to graduate is 23. Okay? If you don't have 23, you are not graduating. At the bottom it talks a little bit about what classes have EOCs, because if you don't take that EOC, you're going to have an incomplete on your transcript. You can't graduate with an I. So make sure you take those in your courses. So biology, physical science, 9th grade Lit, American Lit, Algebra 1, Geometry, U.S. History, and Economics. They're 20% of your grade, so make sure you're studying for those tests. Super important. And then the last thing on this sheet I want to point out is promotion requirements. So how do you get to the next grade level? Because it's not like middle school. We don't just bump you up. We have to have the number of credits to put you in the next grade. So to become a 10th grader, you have to have 5 credits. To become an 11th grader, you have to have 11. And then to become a 12th grader, you have to have 18 credits. Okay, remember, you have to have 23 credits to graduate. So it's all about credits in high school. It's not about promoting you to the next grade. It's you have to have the credits to get there. Okay, so this is hopefully just a reminder. You should know this stuff, especially if you're in 11th and 12th grade. But these are your graduation requirements. So the next thing your advisor is going to be giving you is this sheet. There's 2 versions, a non-IB which is this one, and then there's also an IB version. So make sure you have the correct one. If you're in IB, you need this one because you guys take different courses in different sequences. So make sure you have the right one. I'm going to be practicing filling one out with you guys on the non-IB. Again, if you were in 10th, 11th, or 12th, you should have a transcript. I chose a sample transcript of a 10th grader that I'm going to be using to complete my credit summary. So you're going to use your transcript to complete this. Okay, so at the top, go ahead and write your name in, because we're going to use the same credit summary next year. So you're just, each year you're filling in your information. Okay, so the first area over here is English. So I'm going to look on my transcript, and it says I've got 9th grade lit. I made a 74. So I'm going to go over here, 74. And if I want to make sure that I'm making sure I add everything, I'll put a little dot next to it to indicate that I've already put that on my credit summary. Okay? Math is my next area. Looks like I took coordinate algebra. I made another 74. So I'm going to put another little dot. Now make sure you actually read your courses, because this next one down says coordinate algebra, but then it says support. And remember, support classes don't count towards math graduation. So right here we're just looking at your core classes you have to have. Okay? The next section is science. It says science, I made a 43. So I failed that. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 43. And because I failed it, I want you to notice at the bottom, it says credits that need to be retaken. So anytime you fail a class like that you have to graduate, you have to retake it. So that's why it's important to pass it the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and write, I got to retake biology. Okay. Looks like my next section is social studies. I made a 70 in American government. So I'm going to write that down and mark that off. Okay. Health and personal fitness are next. I'm looking at my transcript. I have not taken it, so I don't write anything down yet. Over here on this side, you're going to see pathways. So this is what I want to talk about. Everyone must have a pathway when you graduate. Okay? You have to declare what your pathway is. If you are in 10th grade, it's very important that you have started your pathway, because a pathway consists of 3 classes. So you're going to see each of them have 3, because you have to finish 3 to be a pathway completer. So if you've never started a pathway as a junior, you don't have enough time to complete a pathway. You need at least 3 years. So you can start as a freshman and finish as a junior, or you can start as a sophomore and finish as a senior. So I'm looking at my areas, and it looks like I've actually started 2 pathways. One pathway is Intro to Business, and one is ROTC. So down here I have all of the CTE pathways listed, because there's a whole lot of them. So I've taken this one, Intro to Business, and I made a 72. And in ROTC, I made a 92. Okay? Now, depending on this student, this is what they took in 9th grade, what am I taking now? So I could look at my current class schedule and see what pathway did I choose. Well, clearly I like ROTC better than I do computer classes. So I'm in this course. So ROTC, this is the pathway I want to be in. Okay? So up here I'm going to write, I am in JROTC, and I've already done the first one. So that's my pathway. So this area is for you to declare what pathway are you doing. If you haven't started it, you need to make sure you do. Your advisor is going to be going over all of the pathways in your next advisement. So make sure, especially if you're a freshman, you're listening to what the pathways are. Okay? Now, if you're in 10th grade and you didn't have anything on your transcript you can use, that's okay. Hopefully you're in something right now. Okay, so I'm going to mark that off. I put my Intro to Business, put my ROTC. So I still have some classes here that I haven't wrote on my credit summary. There is another area that you can put things that aren't in a pathway. So this would be like general PE, weight training. I have basic English that I need to write in, as well as my support class. So I'm going to put down here basic basic English, and I made a 89, and I took, and you can abbreviate, but just make sure you know what you're writing if you abbreviate, and I made 100. Okay, so those classes aren't counting towards any of the core areas up here, but remember, you do need 3 electives to graduate. We have to have 23. So these will count as electives down here. So they're not necessarily in a pathway. Okay, another area I want to point out is this Hope Rigor courses taken. Now, to receive the Hope Scholarship, you have to take rigorous courses. What do I mean by rigorous courses? So I'm going to show you all of the rigorous courses that we offer here at Douglas County. Let me pull it out. And you need to make sure before you graduate that you take at least 4 of them. Okay? So here is the list that you have to have to receive Hope. So if you have a 4.0 and you don't have 4 of these options that you've taken over the 4 years you're in school, you will not get Hope. So it's very important that you know. So all AP courses, notice it says honors does not count. All IB courses will count, not PIB. And any course that you take through Move On with Ready, and you're going to hear a lot more about Move On with Ready during advisement the last week of February, but that's if you go take a class and you get credit at high school as well as the college that you go to. Okay? The other Hope Rigorous, if you don't do any of these, if you don't do AP, IB, or Move On with Ready, Algebra 2. Remember, everyone has to take Algebra 2 anyway, so everyone's pretty much got one. Pre-Calculus, Advanced Math Decision Making, Chemistry 1, Chemistry 2. And then if you take French 2 and up, and Spanish 2 and up, those also count. Okay? So remember, you need 4. So if I'm using this transcript that I have, and I look at those courses that I took, and I look at the list here, I haven't taken any. So I know between now and when I graduate, I need to go ahead and have some of those Hope Rigorous so I can add them. Because when you graduate, you need 4. Okay? So hopefully this has helped you a little bit understand what exactly you need to graduate. Hopefully you're on track to graduate. If you're not, your advisor is going to be talking to you about how you can get caught up. We have the E-Twin20 program. We have the CHAMS program. We also have lots of alternative programs, not just project graduation. We have PLC. We have a lot of them. Virtual Academy is new. So if this setting's not working for you, we need to have those discussions now during advisement. So if you have questions, please ask your advisor. You can ask your counselor, or you can come see me. So again, this is Dr. Boyle, and hopefully you found this exercise helpful.